I'm James Finlay, and I have a bookshop at the Rand Club, and it's called James Finlay Collectible Books and Antique Maps. I started here about 2 years ago, and it was at a time when we had a new committee at Rand Club, as well as this is a city improvement district, Marshalltown, and also at the same time Griffin Shee was setting up the literary district. I've got this benevolent landlord, Rand Club, and so in exchange for very low rent, then we must have events here. So we have jazz, for example, twice a month. We have movie night, quiz nights, book launches, and in fact this space also gets rented out for private functions. So it's actually rethinking the whole concept of how a bookshop is run, and that's what makes this space quite unique, and it really is a success. I love being here. It's a fantastic space to be in, and also we get lots of interesting people coming in. So my main focus is on items that other bookshops or galleries do not sell. So that is antique maps. I've got a few hundred antique maps, mainly Africa, some of them dating back to over 400 years old. And then I've got quite an extensive collection of political posters, South African political posters, some of them banned during apartheid. And they go all the way back to 100 years ago. And that's quite exciting. So basically these items are all very unique, and I thoroughly enjoy researching them and pricing them. And a lot of them have gone to museums and collections all over the world. You know, I've sold apartheid posters to the Library of Congress in America, to the Canadian Library of Congress, and many other places. So it's quite interesting where all these items end up eventually. I really love dealing in rare books. So I run an online book auction every 6 weeks or so. And there we get absolutely extraordinary material. And the current auction that I'm working on, you know, I've got photograph albums from the pioneers, you know, leaving South Africa, all the way to Burchell, first edition, and many other items that are absolutely fascinating. Obelisk Press, banned books, military intelligence books from the Boer War. So those sorts of very unique items are what I really enjoy. You know, handling something for the first time, that's quite exciting. I think the big attraction for me is that I just walk down the stairs to come to work. And so there's a building right next door to Rand Club where the staff used to stay. So that's been converted, and so far there are 3 apartments there. And, you know, the buildings themselves are quite fascinating. So we've got what's called a mansard roof. So it's very steep, and it's designed to let the snow fall off, you know. So it's one of these iron kit buildings, and it's over 100 years old. So it's fascinating in that sense, you know. It's got tremendous character, and these cast iron staircases. So, you know, I think it's all in keeping with us. It's a big space. We've rewired it, replumbed it, and strangely enough, it's actually even quieter than the suburbs, I think. There are no dogs barking, there are no car alarms going off, and there are no house alarms. So at night, I sleep pretty well. I do think that there are a whole lot of hidden gems in the inner city that are close to Rand Club, and one of them would be Anstey's. So I had the privilege of staying in Anstey's for 6 months, and that's a 1935 Art Deco building. And what's so extraordinary about that is it was also designed by Lek, who designed the Rand Club. So, you know, in old age, because he died just as it was completed. So it's extraordinary that you can go from this Beaux Arts building to an Art Deco monument skyscraper, in the space of a couple of decades, bearing in mind this was built in 1904. So I particularly like that, and the rooftop of Anstey's is fascinating. But just a stroll down Main Street is pretty interesting. There are really so many attractions downtown.